So you like voxel drawings like in Minecraft or the sandbox, but everything in RecRoom looks like this, not very voxelish. Well, you're in luck, this video is for you. I'm going to show you how to draw something like my beautiful chicken Hey Hey from Moana video, or anything using voxels in RecRoom. Drawing voxels in RecRoom is actually pretty straightforward. You really need to know about one key feature in the drawing tools. Let's jump in. So I'm gonna take my maker pen from my backpack, and by default you'll probably have something like this kind of blobby thing. Now this doesn't look like much of a voxel, right? But you also have cubes, and in theory you could just go ahead and start drawing cubes, but as you can see, you probably need to be some sort of a Zen master to draw anything like a voxel using this tool. You don't have any kind of control and you draw on all axes at once. So let's actually clean all this up. And the key feature you need to know about is snapping. By default, this will be off and you can turn it to surface and to grid. We want to go with grid. And now if we go under palette and choose our cube, you will see that the cube follows this kind of a grid pattern. So if I just click once, I will start drawing cubes all in a perfect grid pattern. And that's it. That's actually the key feature you need to know about to make voxel drawings. Of course, if you hold and drag, you'll be drawing bigger cubes, but as long as you just click, you will keep adding cubes. And drawing anything will essentially be a process of choosing swatches and drawing with them. And if you want to have multiple colors, you can keep this menu like this, pressing B on your VR controller, and then you can, pick up colors. And that's it. That's the key feature you need to know to draw voxels in RecRoom. Pro tip warning. Well, to draw something more complex like the chicken, you're probably gonna need to know a few pro tips to make your life easier. And there's actually 3 tips I want to share with you. That's actually 3 fingers right here, in case you can't tell. Let's jump in. And the first tip is that if you are drawing something, more complex, you probably don't want to make the same exact drawing over and over again. So let's say you're trying to draw a heart and you already drew half of it and you'd like to draw the other half. And to make a mirror of an object is pretty easy. Once you drew one part of it, just click done, then choose clone or flip, select your object and choose this flip or mirror or symmetry, whichever way you want to call it, and just click once. And that's it. There you have it. Now you mirrored this object. And actually I made heavy use of mirroring on my Hey Hey chicken right here. Tip number 2 is actually recognizing that RecRoom is not a voxel drawing tool. So in most voxel drawing apps, you have a lot of voxel specific features, and one of them is the ability to change colors if you're drawing a cube on top of another. But in RecRoom you can actually draw multiple cubes in the same space. So right now I have 3 cubes all drawn in the same space, and if they're the same color, that's not an issue. But if they have different colors, then you're gonna have this weird artifacts. And more than this, the geometry will not be clean if you have multiple cubes in the same space. And finally, pro tip number 3 is regarding the actual size of these voxels. So if you're drawing something pretty big, maybe this size is actually quite decent. But if you want to draw something a bit more detailed, like my chicken here, you probably need smaller voxels. So how do you do that? Well, the easiest thing is to go under Tools, and with the grid open, you will have this menu and you can select the size of the grid. So if you go, we were on 0.05, if we go one level smaller, you can draw smaller voxels, but this is actually very, very small. So ideally I want something in between, and the menu doesn't actually allow me to select something in between, but I can actually type in my own value over there. So if this was 0.05, I can just type in 0.025 and just hit enter. And this will actually be the new size of my voxels. And there you go. Using a combination of all of these tools and techniques is how I drew Hey Hey from Moana video. You can see right here. Like with most things, it can be a bit frustrating to draw voxels at first, but if you give it a little bit of time, you'll find it actually quite rewarding, and you'll find out new ways of optimizing your flow and optimizing the way you're drawing content. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Also, check the links in the description of this to learn more about what we're building at UnfoldVR for creators like you. Until next time, I'm George.